Welcome back to the channel, folks. I am Matt. Hope you're all doing well. Hope you all had a great 4th of July as well. It really seems like this year, Eric Glesser was like, hold my beer. I'm going to make the most fidgety Spyderco budget knives ever. I'm not saying it's never happened, but I don't remember a time where they've released budget knives that had action like this. I already reviewed the button up here, but if you haven't tried this, I mean, it's just insane. It's one of the best button locks I have ever tried. Not only does it feel just crazy snappy, have what feels like a real detent compared to a lot of button locks, but it's also really strong with the way he designed it. And this thing survives spine wax. It's not gonna unlock. I'm even doing this without a glove. Obviously, that's not, a real world type of test, but as far as button locks go, this thing's damn strong, and most button locks don't survive spine taps like that. I think what holds a lot of people back with their budget line is the steel. They're still using 8CR13 MOV steel. I wonder if they had a 14C stamp on the blade, but it was still 8CR, if people would actually know because of that great geometry, and just most people aren't going to push it to those lengths. But regardless, 8CR to most people is kind of a dated steel, and people expect a little bit better from budget knives nowadays, even if they're still going to get pretty good performance. Unfortunately, that's just the way it is. So I think a lot of people pass up stuff like this because of the 8CR, even if they shouldn't. The heat treat's great on it. With their geometry, it still has pretty good edge retention, but that stamp right there holds people back. For good or for bad. I really think, Spyderco should just move on and use a different steel, but they haven't yet. So anyway, today we're going to take a look at the Mantra 4. Now the Mantra, from what I remember, the first 3 were more high-end. I think the first one came out about 10 years ago, and it was titanium. They've had like M4 steel, S30V steel, so kind of interesting that they decided to make this one a budget knife. This one's their carbon fiber layered G10, and then they have regular G10 versions of this that are like $5 less or maybe $10 less. I've seen these go anywhere from like 65 up to 79 or so. So what makes this one so crazy is just the snappy action. It's a very lightweight knife. I wouldn't say it's a hard use knife by any means. The blade stock on this is crazy thin. We'll measure it here in a bit. It's got that leaf style shaped blade that Spyderco is known for, but every model just has it a little bit different. This one's a bit quirky. There is no finger choil, and the blade kind of starts behind your hands a bit more than most Spydercos. So, there's a PM3. See where the edge is? With the Mantra 4 here, it just feels like it's a little bit farther that way when you're cutting stuff, but you get used to it. It's a back flipper, and of course you have the hole. The first word I said when I originally deployed this was just snappy. That's exactly what it feels like. It is the snappiest Spyderco I can remember using. That little back flipper, even though it looks like it might not, works great with the way that this is designed. It's got a little bit of jimping there on the face, but not much up here, but it just doesn't take a lot. Boom, it's deployed. Liner lock, the lockup is just about centered there, and that jimping from the back flipper moves around to be right here. So you do have a little bit of grip there, and then you have some jimping here on the blade as well. Ergonomics feel pretty good. Let's try it with the right hand. I haven't swapped the clip over on this one yet. Feels pretty good. The handle does feel a little bit thin, just compared to a lot of Spydercos out there. I almost feel like I want a little bit more in my hand right through this area. But as far as any hot spots or anything like that, nothing at all. And it definitely feels like more of a lighter use, very lightweight knife. So there it is next to the button up. They're pretty similar in length. Here is a PM2. Definitely going to be longer. A PM3 looks a bit shorter. And how about a Native 5? Definitely shorter than that as well. Your cutting edge is about 3 1/4. The blade length about 3 3/8 or so. Overall length on the knife, just a little bit under 7 1/2. This one's definitely lighter weight than the button up. Yeah, 2 ounces. I think they claim 2.1 ounces on this, but I believe it. This thing is super duper lightweight. Blade stock thickness, about 97 thousandths. So very thin. Thickness of the scales is pretty thin as well, about 370 thousandths or so. So about 3/8 of an inch thick. There is what it looks like on the inside. You got some standoffs right there. You do obviously have a liner on the liner lock side, but doesn't look to be a liner on the other side. It does feel pretty rigid though with this G10. Like it doesn't feel like it flexes or anything like some of the FRN scales out there. So you do have a hole for your lanyard. You got a T8 pocket clip screw, T6 body screw right there, and then your pivot screw is T8 as well. So not a whole lot going on there. It is running on bearings. So this one does have bearings, obviously contributing to the snappy feel of it. As far as deployment, that flipper feels great. The reverse flick feels fantastic. Thumb flick, kind of hard to get my thumb in there, at least left-handed, but I can do it. Let's try this righty. So right hand flipper, yeah, no problem. I can unlock it pretty well too. Let's try the reverse flick. It's hard for me. It's hard for me with my right hand. I got it. There we go. Definitely not going to be able to do a thumb flick, I don't think though, but I can roll it out. Now, I've played with this thing a lot. I will say it was a little bit better centered when I first got it, but as far as the lockup goes, there's no movement whatsoever. It is a slicing machine though. Oh, got hung up there. There we go. So very, very thin blade stock, very thin behind the edge. Pretty thin pointy tip there as well. So I wouldn't say this is like a hard use knife. It's a lightweight, good summer knife, good shorts carry knife, stuff like that, but still gives you a pretty good sized blade. So what has me kind of puzzled with this year's designs is that they're so good, but I know some people are going to be held back because of the steel. And I'm really, really hoping that they do come out with, higher end steel options for these. I mean, if you've used button lock knives before, button plunge lock, keep that in mind, not talking about top liner lock knives, things like that. But if you used button plunge lock knives, you can just really appreciate this. The lockup, you can tell even by the plunge lock, is bigger. It seems like a bigger lock, and it protrudes out a bit more than most plunge locks that you see. And just the way that it interacts with the blade tang there, I think that it makes it way stronger. Plus, you just have a really nice detent on it. Very snappy, but again, like I said, a lot of people aren't going to get this because of the 8CR13 MOV. Same goes with the Mantra 4 here. Fantastic little knife. Great action, feels good in the hand, just a great EDC style knife that's going to be very, very slicey for you. Think like some of the TRM stuff where those blades are just very, very thin. You got that full flat grind going on, feels like nothing behind the edge. If you're wondering, not really a drop shut, but you can go like that and whip it shut. So you go to unlock it there and then boom, it's closed. A look at the detent. About a medium, I would say, but it fits well for this style knife with the weight of the blade, I think. Just making the deployment feel near perfect, just super snappy. It's crazy. So I don't have a lot bad to say about it other than, it's 65 to 75 bucks with 8CR13 MOV steel, and a lot of people are getting really spoiled now with budget knives. And granted, those are usually Chinese companies, right? Obviously, when it's an American company, even if they are manufacturing it in China, the overhead's going to be a bit more. So you're probably never going to see something like Migron level knives for $40 from an American company just because of overhead. So, keep that in mind. I don't necessarily think the price is egregious for these, but if these were in 14C28N or something like VG10, which would be fantastic, I think that they would sell a lot more. That's just my take. I don't know what that would do to their pricing, but I do think that they should probably move on from the 8CR13 MOV steel, even though, like I said, they heat treat it better than anybody. A lot of people love using this steel when Spyderco applies it. It's pretty easy to sharpen, but again, just the name turns some people off. Oh, also one more thing. It has that same Spyderco kind of issue where there is no choil or anything. A lot of Spyderco fans are used to that, but you obviously have to get around that whole ricasso there and the way the edge terminates into it. But all in all, to wrap it up, two of the better Spyderco budget knives I have ever tried. Obviously, knives like the Tenacious have been crazy, crazy popular for an overall EDC knife. Like, what's the best overall EDC knife? I would say the Tenacious is more well-rounded. But if you want a lightweight carry that feels like nothing in the pocket, super duper slicey, and you can just fidget with it for days, you're probably going to like the Mantra 4 as long as you're okay with the steel. And there's what those two look like together. And if you like button locks and you just want to try like the ultimate button lock, get this, break it in for a week or two, and let me know what's better. Maybe Civivis, maybe, I don't know, maybe something more expensive like the Dead Reckon knives, but most plunge locks do not feel like this. So I think that's it, guys. I will put links in the description for where you can pick these up. Please like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video, and check out one of my others. That about wraps it up. Until next time, thanks for watching.